This chapter is about customizing ProTools. I want to do a customization that I do on my system that I think will help you too. There's a fairly easy fix for Mac users. I'm not sure how to do this on a PC, but I think you can do it on a PC. You'll notice that in the ProTools menu, hide ProTools is a command, but there's no shortcut for it. So we're going to go to Apple and System Preferences. And when this panel comes up, we want Keyboard, Shortcuts. We're going to create an app shortcut. So we hit the plus key. The application we want is ProTools. I've already selected mine. And what's very important here is that you type exactly what it said back there in ProTools. Capital HIDE space, capital PRO space, capital TOOLS. Now this part tricks people sometimes. Command H is the hide command. If you type command and don't type H, you'll see a space. You won't see anything and you think that it's not working. Hold down command and then type the letter H, and then they both appear together. Then you add, quit System Preferences, go to the ProTools menu, and there it is. Back to ProTools. I've already created a session called Customizing ProTools, and now let's use that new hide command that we have and examine what's in this folder. So alphabetically from the top, there's an audio files folder. There are no files in there yet, but when we import or record audio, that's where those will go. ProTools has created a file for bounced files. So when we work with our audio and we've decided we're done and we mix, we call that a bounce. And that's the default folder for where the bounce will go. It also created folders for clip groups, for backups, for video files, and this thing called a wave cache. And maybe the most important document in here is the session document itself. It's 24K. We know that's tiny. Let's see how this operates over time. I'm going to jump back to ProTools and quickly create 3 new mono audio tracks and 3 new MIDI tracks. So now I have placeholders for information in my session, but I haven't saved it. Let me go ahead and do that. Let's use that cool command again and hide ProTools. And our session has gone from 24 to 33K. Still tiny, but bigger than it was, because ProTools has remembered that I wanted a certain amount of audio tracks and a certain amount of MIDI tracks. Remember what's back here. Several folders and a couple of files. I'm going to jump to ProTools and quit it. And a lot of what was there has gone away now. It doesn't need folders for audio files and bounce files and video files, and it did keep the session backups, but that's all. So what is that? Well, it's ProTools being efficient. ProTools looked at your session and said, well, there's a lot of stuff here I don't need. I created it in case I needed it. Now I don't need it. I'm throwing it away. So don't be shocked if your session file changes as you work with it. Now, the really important takeaway from this movie is that this session file, .ptx, stays in the same folder as the audio files folder and the other folders we saw earlier. So when you open this session in ProTools, ProTools will look around the parent folder, this folder that contains this session file, and it'll look for the audio files that are part of the session. And if they aren't there, you'll have to reconnect. But it's a lot easier if you just leave things as ProTools made them. They need to be in the same folder as all the other files that make up that session. There is one exception to that, and we'll cover that in the next movie.